Well, hey everybody, how are you? I hope that you're doing well. My name is Rebecca and welcome to another Exploring Atlanta video. Now in today's video, we are going to be touring the historic Herndon House Museum. And I'm really excited about it because I initially wanted to tour this estate over a year ago, but it was temporarily closed. It came upon my radar again and I found that it had reopened. And so I decided to take the tour and I was not disappointed. And it's not just about the house itself, but it is about the improbable rags to riches story of Alonzo Herndon, who was born into slavery in 1858, emancipated from slavery in 1865, and by 1905, he was the first Atlanta Black millionaire. And we are going to take a journey and learn more about his legacy. Now, I did not know before I got there that they did not allow you to take pictures or recordings inside the house. So I had to scour the internet to try to find some images that I can show you as I do the presentation. So I do want to give credit to WXIA TV because most of the images I found were on their site. Now, before we jump into the video, I want to welcome those of you who are here for the first time. And if you are a subscriber to the channel, I really do appreciate you returning each and every week. I really do. And if you are enjoying the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel because it does help to grow and reach more people. And it doesn't cost you anything. So come and follow me on this journey and I will be back later to close us out. Okay, I am here at the Herndon home in the rear, and we're just going to pan around as I make my way to the front of the home. Herndon home is a historic museum that was the family home of Alonzo Franklin Herndon, who was born into slavery in 1858. Now, the Herndon home is a reflection of Black achievement, resilience, and entrepreneurship, symbolizing the extraordinary success of Alonzo Herndon, Atlanta's first Black millionaire who rose from slavery to build the Atlanta Life Insurance Company, while also embodying Black community strength, philanthropy, and the artistic vision of his wife, Adrienne Herndon. It stands as a National Historic Landmark, representing African American excellence and a powerful story of self-made success against systemic barriers. Now, this museum is located in the Vine City neighborhood in Atlanta, and it's adjacent to the campus of Morris Brown College, which was Atlanta University at that time. It is a two-story rectangular classic revival brick mansion. It has a flat roof. Check out the size of the tree in the front yard that was planted in 1910. The two porches projecting from the sides, and a massive neoclassical portico entrance supported by these large pairs of columns. The house was built between 1908 and 1910, and most of the building was designed by Alonzo's wife Adrienne, who was a drama teacher at Atlanta University. The school campus was visible from the flat rooftop, which she had intended to be used as a performance venue. Now, all of the work on the mansion, except for the electrical and plumbing systems, was performed by African American laborers and contractors. Now, this is just 43 years after the abolishment of slavery. Now, before we go inside, I thought it would be most appropriate to first introduce you to the four members of the Herndon family. Okay, so we are going to start with the patriarch himself, Alonzo Herndon, who was born into slavery in 1858 in Walton County, Georgia. And Alonzo was the son of Stephanie, an enslaved woman, and a white father, likely her enslaver, by the name of Frank Herndon, who was from a wealthy slaveholding family Now, Alonzo was one of 25 people enslaved by his father, who never acknowledged him as his son. Now, in 1865, at the age of 7, following the Civil War, his family was emancipated, including his mother, her parents, and his younger brother. He took his presumed father's surname, Herndon. They entered freedom broke, destitute, and from a young age, Herndon worked as a laborer and a peddler to help support his family. And they worked primarily as sharecroppers on plantations in Social Circle, Georgia. In 1878, Alonzo left Social Circle on foot with $11 in savings and about 1 year of formal schooling. He eventually settled in Sonora, Georgia to work as a farmhand. And it was here that he started to learn the barbering trade. He would go on to open his first barber shop in Jonesboro, Georgia. His barbering business thrived and he expanded it over the years. And he eventually owned 3 barber shops here in Atlanta, including a large one at 66 Peachtree Street, which was called the Crystal Palace. And he filled it with luxurious furnishings, and it also offered baths and pressing services. His barber shops serviced wealthy white men, such as presidents, judges, businessmen, and lawyers. Now, in 1863, he married Adrienne Elizabeth McNeil, who was a professor at Atlanta University, who helped him gain an education and become more refined and debonair. And they had one son by the name of Norris B. Herndon. Now, Alonzo also invested in real estate, and in 1905 he founded the Atlanta Life Insurance Company, which grew to become the nation's largest African-American owned insurance company. And through his enterprises, he became Atlanta's first black millionaire. And over the years, he used his wealth to invest in the black community. He was deeply committed to improving the lives of blacks here in Atlanta. Now we're going to turn our attention to Adrienne Herndon. Adrienne was Alonzo Herndon's first wife. She was an African-American woman of remarkable talent and intelligence. She became accomplished in architecture, theater, stage production, and dramatic instruction. Now, as a daughter of light-skinned, slave-born house servants, Adrienne was a very fair-skinned African-American woman who engaged in situational passing in order to gain access to white-only environments that she would later use to benefit her African-American community. Now, situational passing is a practice of temporarily assuming the identity of a white person, not to be confused with crossing over, which was a practice in which African Americans fully denied their black identity and gave up all ties to the black community, friends and families and what have you. Now, to the contrary, Adrienne was a proud African American woman who, along with her husband, was dedicated to enhancing and enriching the African American community here in Atlanta. Now, while attending the Boston School of Expression and the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York, Adrienne assumed the identity of Anne Dubignon, a woman of Creole descent. And she used this racially ambiguous Creole term because it neither confirmed nor identified her African American heritage, and as such she was able to secure what would otherwise be an unattainable Northern education, and she used it to teach Southern African American students. After completing her formal education that included a series of successful stage performances up north, Adrienne accepted a position as head of the Department of Drama at Atlanta University, now of course Morris Brown College. There she presented the university's first Shakespearean production, The Merchant of Venice, and gave the African American community who were excluded from white theaters access to professional theatrical productions with elaborate sets and costumes for the first time. In 1908, she began a new endeavor of designing the Herndon House, for which she had no formal training, which is a testament to her wide range of talent, expertise, and style.
Now, tragically, Adrienne died unexpectedly in 1910 from Addison's disease, just 3 months after the completion of the home. So she never got to witness the many stage productions and recitals that would be performed there in the future. Okay, so we now turn our attention to Alonzo Herndon's second wife. Her name was Jessie Gillespie Herndon, and she met Alonzo through a mutual friend in 1911 in Chicago, where she was working as a beautician and manicurist in a salon that was owned by her half-sister. So she was a hairdresser. And after marrying Alonzo in 1912, she became involved in his business and community affairs here in Atlanta. And she and Alonzo had no children, but she was an exceptional stepmother to Alonzo's son Norris. They really had a great relationship. Jessie also added her touches to the Herndon home, continuing its role as an iconic space in the African American community and a prestigious gathering space for many social events and activities. As you can see from the photos, she enjoyed the outdoors. She loved fishing. In fact, they were members of a fishing group, and Jessie died of a stroke in the home in 1947. Norris Herndon. Norris was born in Atlanta in 1897, the son and only child of Alonzo and his first wife Adrienne, and he was devastated by his mother's death. But he did form a close, loving relationship with his stepmother Jessie, whom his father would remarry 2 years later in 1912. He was well educated and well traveled. He graduated from Atlanta University and received a master's degree in business administration from Harvard University. In fact, he was only one of 2 African Americans in his Harvard graduating class, alongside his classmate Benjamin Tanner Johnson. After graduating from Harvard, Norris joined the Atlanta Life Insurance Company. He first worked as a cashier and then as the company's first vice president. And when his father Alonzo died in 1927 at the age of 69, Norris became Atlanta Life Insurance's second ever president at the age of 28 years old. And he became notable in his own right, expanding the insurance company into an empire. And his mother Jessie joined him as the corporation's vice president. Norris never married, so there were no Herndon heirs after him. The Herndon family's burial plot is located in Southwest Cemetery here in Atlanta, in which Alonzo was significantly involved in supporting. In fact, he was a member of the association board of the cemetery. Southwest Cemetery was founded by formerly enslaved people and became a symbol of Black self-sufficiency. And of course, as a successful businessman, it was a mission that Alonzo Herndon embodied. Now, before and after the Civil War, cemeteries, even within urban areas, were segregated, with African Americans being relegated to entering burial grounds through alternate rear entrances. And they were limited to burials in specified segregated areas, and these areas were typically the most undesirable, sometimes quite swampy parts. So leaders in the African American community invested their time, energy, and money creating a place where prominent leaders and other ordinary working citizens were granted eternal rest with grace, with dignity, and with respect. All right, let's step inside. And as we enter the vestibule or reception hall of the Herndon home, it is a 15-room mansion plus a full basement that was built for Alonzo Herndon in 1910. Now, the exact square footage is not widely published, but it is described as a significant Beaux Arts estate with grand rooms featuring the original furnishings, documents, family photos, and crystal chandeliers. For access into the music room or parlor room from the vestibule, there are sliding pocket doors. This room was designed in Louis XV style. It has a crystal and bronze chandelier. The border of the room is constructed with parquet wood.
The mantelpiece is the most elaborate architectural element in this room, and this is called the stair hall. And here you see they continue with the neoclassical themes, early Renaissance quarterfoils, elaborately carved lion figure there, and beautiful chandelier in the center. And as we move on to the living room, the opposite side of the vestibule, you have the living room that is accessible through sliding pocket doors. And this is indeed a grand room, as you can see, with mahogany paneling, built-in display cabinets, window seat, chimney piece, and exposed mahogany beams that creates a cozy medieval effect. It also has the original parquet bordered hardwood floors, and you have a continuous mural frieze at the very top. There are bookcases and family artifacts throughout this living room. Here is where the Herndons received guests, including other prominent black leaders of their time. Now the dining room. You enter the dining room through a pair of mahogany single panel pocket doors from the living room. This is the last formal room on the main floor. The dining room continues the use of dark mahogany paneling, beamed ceiling, and window seat as seen in the living room. You have an elaborate mahogany chimney piece and built-in serpentine front sideboard set, Mannerist grotesque garlands, and late Renaissance details. As in the other main floor rooms, the wood floor is bordered in parquet. Cross beams on the ceiling form 9 compartments which frame suspended light fixtures. Now let's move upstairs to Jessie's bedroom. Jessie's bedchamber has an unbordered hardwood floor. A smooth plaster ceiling is accented by only a narrow crown molding there. Walls are treated to a rich pewter, gold, and silver floral paper. It's really beautiful. Windows in the room are on the south wall and the west wall. Heating for the room is boxed below the window seat. A rich glass and gilt chandelier lights the room. The mantelpiece for the room is pretty modest, for canthus console blocks supporting a thick mantel shelf and a facing of ceramic tile for the fireplace. Adjoining the bedroom on the north is a dressing room with mirrored closets and a tiled bathroom. The bath and a private hall connects Jessie's bedroom to her husband Alonzo's bedroom to the north. And speaking of Alonzo's room, here it is. I was only able to find an older Christmas image, and this room is nearly square with an unbordered wood floor. The smooth plaster ceiling is lined by a small crown molding. The windows in the west and north walls are the 1/1 type. Lighting for the room is provided by a glass and gilt chandelier in the center of the ceiling. The mantelpiece in the room includes mirrored over mantel, spinally full height iconic columns on pedestals, and a tiled fireplace. Norris's bedroom uses the same dark parquet flooring from the 1960s redecorating campaign. The ceiling is the usual plaster finished with exposed light bulb fixtures. The walls are plaster as well. In the west wall, an express chimney breast carries a simple trabeated mantelpiece with green ceramic tile mantel facing. Adjoining Morris's bedroom through the corridor is another tiled bathroom, the original tile tub and pedestal sink. Now the toilet fixture has been updated. Moving on, this is the partner desk in a spacious open landing or sitting room on the second floor. And this area lets out onto a veranda wrapping the house on 3 sides. Its most significant architectural features. The flooring is made of unboarded hardwood. This informal work area features a Victrola and the actual Atlanta Life ledger containing the names of claimants, including their death date and their insurance payout. I found that fascinating to see something that's dated back so far and in really good condition. You know, I really hate that I wasn't able to find photos of all the features in this stately mansion. I really do. Some of the other features include on the first floor, you have the butler's pantry, the breakfast porch, the kitchen with the original appliances, On the second floor, you had a fourth bedroom, which was a guest bedroom. There was a trophy room, a game room, and a carriage house, a 2-story, 1-bedroom servant's quarter. Unfortunately, I don't have any images of those, but I did want to make you aware of that. This is the full basement where administrative offices are located. There's a safe room and a small apartment down here. And here's where you have a documented account of the Herndons' life and legacy. There's a conference room table where meetings are held, an original barber chair from Alonzo's Crystal Palace barbershop. There are books, photos, awards and accolades, hobbies, artifacts from the early 1900s, wall paintings and murals. And there's a photo of a successful Alonzo Herndon standing in front of the, well, I don't know a better way to say it, but the shack, slave house in which he lived as a child, where he was raised on the plantation. They also store items down here because they do switch out feature items on the main 2 floors from time to time because there's just so much. They have a large storage unit outside as well. Now this basement is erected on a concrete slab, so when you come to work you don't have to access the main house to get to the office. There's a patio and a parking lot just outside. And like I said, there's also a storage building outside. And in conclusion, let me just say that this picture tour doesn't do justice to the splendor, elegant, and historical context of what the Herndon home represents. You have to experience it for yourself, you really do. And I had the most patient and knowledgeable tour guide by the name of Thaddeus, who took his time, about 2 hours, guiding me through this place and dropping nuggets you'll never get listening to or reading reports. You just have to experience it for yourself. You really do.
Okay, so that's going to wrap up our tour of the historic Herndon House Museum. I hope that you enjoyed this overview, that it just gave you a taste of what you will experience. And I do highly recommend that you put it on your bucket list. And just to bring you up to date, over the past few years, the Atlanta Lifehouse Company has started to decline and sell off some of their assets. And after Norris died in 1997, there were no living heirs to carry on the legacy and to continue to build the empire. Norris never married and had children, and Alonzo and his second wife never had any children together. So you can see how the lineage might start to dissipate over time. However, as fate would have it, Magic Johnson stepped in and he bought Atlanta Life Insurance Company in 2023, and he is resurging it. He didn't want to see the Herndon brand become another Black history casualty, and I'm really glad about that because I certainly don't want to see the Herndon legacy die. It's too much of an inspiration story of resilience and excellence. So we're going to end it right there. Now I will be back again next week with another video. And if you're interested in becoming a channel member, click on the join button below for more details. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and hit the subscribe button and help us to get to 5,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye now.